The following program was provided by a valued member of our local community. Rogers TV is proud to support local producers and share local voices, ideas, and opinions. For more information, please visit our website.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the third episode of the Brantford Red Sox Report, your weekly show here on Rogers TV, where we talk all things Brantford Red Sox, whether it be in front of the camera, behind the camera, on the field. We talk everything you need to know about one of the IBL's longest tenured teams and its winningest in terms of championships. Well, we've already talked to a player from the organization in Chris Ortega. We've talked to my color commentary voice and a perspective from a coach and umpire background in Brian Hawley. Today, we talked to somebody from the game day side of things that works in our media team. Our very own social media manager, Brooklyn Kerr, is in the studio today, our third guest here on the Red Sox Report. Brooklyn, you've done a lot of content from behind the scenes. You produce stuff every week. Today you get a chance to be on camera in front of it. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. There's definitely a bit of nerves, but I'm excited.
Hey, we all face it. Chris Ortega was a champ. I know he was a little bit worried, and it's going to be fun today. We're going to try to keep it pretty even keel today, give people at home a little bit of a glimpse into what it's like and who puts all this awesome content out that has helped grow in our team. For starters in that front, can you tell the people at home a little bit about your role this year as social media manager and what other roles you've kind of taken on?
Yeah, so basically, I kind of coordinate a lot of the game day socials, and I get all the graphics ready to go. We do our It's Game Day graphic, and then I post our final score graphic, and then I post our score in between innings graphics. And then when we have stuff going on in between innings, little games or little activities, I always go and film that. And then we also film question of the day videos with some of the guys and some of it's funny stuff. So I try and do a little bit of everything, and definitely write down lists and stuff of what we can do, and then also for potential next year or next season, or within the next week, if we have an idea for a video or a concept, I'll write it down as well. So there's a lot of planning.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of content. We're going to kind of touch on different parts because you get to work with people for every aspect of your job. But one of the cool things about your job that I didn't realize till last Sunday is you travel with the team on the road quite commonly. You take the team bus, you go to road games, and you've seen a lot of different team environments this year. So talk about, in terms of media output or game day activities, how does Brantford kind of compare to those other teams, and what can maybe we learn from what you've seen at other IBL cities? There's
a lot of similarities, but you also see as well is that every single team does something different. It's never usually the same. And that's something that I've also learned is it's always good to have consistency with the content that you're making, but it's also good to kind of change it up a bit as well, because having everything be so similar is often boring and fans get bored of it. And it's really kind of cool as well to see when traveling with all of going to different stadiums around the league, you get to see how they do it. And that's something that I really learn and kind of take a little mental note of my head of oh, okay, this social media manager is doing this, or the videographer is filming this kind of content, or they're filming this in between innings, or they're capturing there's something going on, an event happening, they're trying to capture that and they're capturing it in a cool way. And so you learn a lot, but also you're kind of incorporating it as well into kind of change things up and do stuff that you haven't really done, which is
And I think part of why we're growing so much, we have the need to compared to other teams' media groups, because we are a very new personnel. That's one of the new things this year. My first year with the organization, I believe your first year. Julia Vina, our in-game host, as well as Nathan Bowles, one of our team photographers, that made an awesome video feature we'll show later. Lots of kind of first-time Red Sox community members that we're trying to build something here with media. Speaking of them, talk a little bit about people like Julia and Nathan and people on the game day team, and what kind of the team personnel atmosphere and culture is like, and how that kind of bleeds through to what the fans at home at Arnold Anderson see on game day.
Yeah, they are incredible people to work with, and we're always constantly texting each other throughout the week of oh, we saw this video on TikTok, we can try and do this, and they're so down for it. And there's often times where I'll spring it on them, when we come to the game, oh, by the way, we're filming this video. They're oh, okay, they're so down, and yeah, they're really fun to work with, and they make the environment so incredibly fun as well. And that's something that, as a fan, that's something that we want to see fans want to see as well, is that seeing that, oh, they really enjoy working well with each other and they work well with each other, and also they enjoy being in that environment, and that's something that's incredible to see.
Well, a couple weeks back, you kind of got outside of the usual environment at the live at the park. You did an awesome Tim Hortons Camp Day video and some stuff that was fun there. You kind of took the lead on that. You kind of orchestrated putting that together. First of all, talk about what the process was like getting that together, but then seeing the team in the Red Sox. For those that don't know, they were out there at the drive-thru, kind of interacting with people from the Brantford community. What was that opportunity like to leave the confines of the park and see the Red Sox and their players kind of interact more with the Brantford community?
Yeah, it was really, really fun. My aunt is the manager of that particular Tim Hortons, and so she came to my cousin and I, and she was like, oh, we're looking for something to do for Camp Day. We don't really know what we want to do. And my cousin and I were like, well, why don't we just call up a couple of the guys and they can come down and sign autographs and work the drive-through and just be there for Camp Day. And she was like, all right. So we kind of came up with the idea somewhat end of May, and we're constantly looking up things to do. And then we let them know and said, hey, we have this idea. Are you willing to come down and do it? And the guys were like, yeah, of course. But, it was, as somebody who lives in Brantford, is from here, is that there's not really a whole lot of people that do so much for the community. And we kind of knew that we wanted people to know that, okay, they're doing stuff for the community. They're giving back to the community. They're giving back in a way that you don't normally see, and it's showing that they want to be here and not showing that they want to be here. So it's definitely really exciting to see, and I'm so happy that they came, and I'm so grateful that they came and did this.
I think that's what's cool about this era of the Red Sox, especially since the new ownership and kind of this year changing gears from, for a long time, the Red Sox were known for their on-field abilities, specifically in 2 6-year windows, which is weird, but a team that is known for having the most championship success on the field, and to kind of, more be known going forward as a team that really makes, good change in their community. Because I know we have the personalities, and just very quickly, I think you can talk to that. From the way that they interacted on that Tim Hortons Camp Day, do you think the players themselves have kind of the urgency or the appreciation for their community that you do fun stuff like that again in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely see that, and I've had a couple of them say yeah, we're willing to come back next year if you want us to come back. I was like, perfect. There
you go. Well, I'm excited for what you come up with. I don't know how many other cousins or family members or anybody you have working in local establishments, but put the call out. It would be fun to see. I'm sure we can get a lot more good content. Next time, maybe don't almost kill our team cameraman in the drive-thru. We're not going to tell much about that story, but we're lucky we have all of our personnel still here. We're going to be back in just a few moments. We're still going to come back with Brooklyn Kerr. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Red Sox this season, maybe some individual players. When we come back, we'll be back in just a few moments on the Brantford Red Sox Report. Stay with us. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Brantford Red Sox Report here on Rogers TV. Our third episode, joined today by Red Sox social media manager Brooklyn Kerr. Now we're going to do something fun. It's either going to be, I said to the crew today, it's either going to be the best segment we've ever done, or it's going to be what puts this show off the air. Today we're going to do a fun little game for you where, I should back this up. You're a big Taylor Swift fan. You're a big Swiftie. You're a big fan of all of her music. Hopefully not the football team they're now associated with. But we're going to put up a graphic here on screen. You know our players, as we talked about, pretty well. You do a lot of media stuff with them. You get to talk to them before game today. You have a graphic there of the 4 Taylor Swift albums we've provided, which I believe, if memory serves, is Fearless, Red, Reputation, and Tortured Poets Department, which matches the following Red Sox players. So Aiden Armitage, Brody Black, Jeremy Veilleux, Lucas Bateman, Christian Ortega, and Ethan Palos. From your memory, which ones would you match up to a certain album for the people at home?
I think Reputation, it would have to be Chris. I mean, that album's like a album. He's that kind of person. I think I have to go with Chris. For Tortured Poets Department, I would probably have to say Jeremy, because that album's a very old English, smart album, and Jeremy knows a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. So definitely would have to go with Jeremy on that one. For Red, I might have to go with Brody.
Okay.
Random, I know, but I might have to go with Brody. And then fearless, I would have to say Ethan. I don't know why he just exudes like fearless vibes.
There you go. So that's Black is Brody Black for those watching at home. You just got the last name, and then Ethan is Ethan Palos there. That's fun. Red for Brody Black. If it was me, it would just be complexion based. I like that one. Also, permanently in my linguistics going forward, whenever I refer to somebody as intelligent, I will refer to them as the Tortured Poets Society or Department of Their Day. I can't even remember the name of the album, but that's fun. Just a little fun little way for somebody at home. That'll mean a lot. That'll be a great way to explain players, and for others, you're confused, but that's fine. We're going to get back to the baseball here in just a moment. So that was a fun little thing. Let's ask you about something a little bit more recent than any of the Taylor Swift albums, because last Sunday, you and I, it was actually the first chance we got to meet each other at the IBL All-Star Game there in Hamilton. Talk a little bit about that experience, because you got to cover our All-Stars kind of in person, do some content with them, but similar to what I asked before about other markets, what was that like seeing Hamilton and the presentation for that game? Because they really did go over the top. It was a great day for the team. What can we kind of learn about what you covered there that we can take away to do every game here in Brantford?
Yeah, they went it was so much fun to go there and just see, and the way that they did it was really incredible, and there was stuff that I kind of took away that I thought was really cool. Like, I know that doesn't really have to do with like media in a sense, but they did this thing like with like tokens and stuff like that, where like you pay and then you're given a token and then you just tell them like, oh, like this is what I want. Like, I thought that was really cool, and it really like allowed like the lines to not be too chaotic and really gets rid of all the chaos. And there was a lot of people there too, so it kind of really helped. And it was really fun as well because you get to see a lot of like what other teams do. Like again, as I was speaking earlier about like being at away games, like I met a lot of the social media people from other teams. Like
right.
I hung out with some of like the Welland social media people, and like kind of seeing how they do it and when they're targeting their players, it was really fun to see. And like, you know, we both, like all of us are all like, we're all here for this same thing. And it was really fun too how they kept the crowd engaged as well, whether that was like through like the in-game host or like whether that was like having like a live band play between the home run derby and the All-Star game itself. You had like a live band, and they were able to really keep a crowd engaged, and that was something that I thought was really cool to see, because that's like your kind of top thing. Like, yes, you're there to see a baseball game, but you're there to be entertained, and you're there to have a good time, and doing whatever it takes to keep somebody engaged is what's really going to promote having a good time.
Mm-hmm. Unrealistic expectations as far as the in-game host. Her red dress, by the looks of it, it's the flashiest thing you've ever seen. If you happen to see it on social media, probably worth more than the salary of every player in our organization. It was something truly wild, and they did awesome. There were so many kind of fun activations there, and as somebody, again, who's been to a couple different ballparks, you really don't get the sense of what it's like with a packed crowd with that environment until you're there for an All-Star. Hopefully we'll have one in the next couple of years here in Brantford. Hopefully we kind of rebuilt back to that point. Speaking of the Red Sox and kind of looking now back to the past, one of the conversations I've had with a lot of people around the organization is, as a franchise that I talk about as so historic, the most championships in league history going back, 100 years, over 100 years of history, what do you think we can do as far as a mixture of leveraging our past and kind of looking at the past of the organization and championing that and what the Red Sox used to be, while also building a new identity and a new brand with the new players, the new people we've brought in? How do you, and it's a big question, but how do you think we can kind of balance and cross that bridge between the two?
I think definitely just doing whatever it takes to get fans into the stadium. I mean, like, and I've spoken to a lot of fans, and there are a lot of fans that just started coming to the games, and there were fans that, that came like many years ago, and they keep coming back. And I think it's always doing stuff to keep the fans happy and making it a fan first priority, and whether that is through stuff that's happening during the game or whether it's stuff that's happening in social media, you always want to just do something that will keep the fans engaged. And especially, like, for me, in a sense, like, I have a bit of a legacy with the team. Like, my great-grandpa played for the Red Sox.
Really?
Yeah, he played for the Red Sox before he went over to Germany to fight in, like, World War II. And so as, like, keeping that and, like, kind of, like, slowly, like, seeing the team over, like, over the many, many years, they always try and do whatever it takes to keep fans going. And even if that is through concession, or whether that's through media, or that's, what's on the field, I think that's our big top priority, is just having the fans keep going and give them a reason to come back.
Well, we've covered a lot today. That was awesome to kind of give people a glimpse into the media environment, what we're putting out, kind of what the future of the team and that new identity is going to look like. Very quickly, before we head to commercial and we say goodbye to you for the day, I'll see you at the game later, but what does your future look like? Because I know you're currently at Mohawk College, you're very involved, you're probably ahead of many of your peers with what you've done in sports. Are you looking to stick in baseball? What does your future look like, very quickly?
I definitely would love to work in multiple different avenues and multiple different sports as well. But my future is definitely going to working in major leagues, and whether that's the MLB, whether that's the NHL, definitely working in that kind of area too. A big one as well is working for Team Canada during the Olympics. That's a top one for me too. So definitely big leagues and big time sports is up there, and that's what I want to do.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure. Best of luck in your future endeavors, Brooklyn. Thank you for joining us today on the Brantford Red Sox Report, and we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Brantford Red Sox Report. I'm your host, Marshall Crocker. Today we had Brooklyn Kerr in the studio. It was awesome to get to talk to our social media manager, learn a little bit about the big picture, both on the field and in our community, for what Brantford's been doing and what sort of content you'll see for the Red Sox over the next couple of years. Well, at this segment of the show, at the very final segment, we always talk a little bit about the past, look back at the week of Brantford Red Sox baseball. This week, that's 2 normal games and our All-Star game. And we have an awesome video made by team photographer Nathan Bowles. We'll show you that here in just a few moments. But first, let's talk about our 2 contests from this past weekend for the actual Red Sox organization. First, we got that Barrie game. That was Barrie coming to Brantford in the Arnold Anderson Stadium. That was the Barrie Bay Cats picking up the 6-5 win. And one that I think is probably the most electric moment I've called as the broadcaster all year. That 6-5 contest, Benitez gets the win. Colby Klepper unfortunately drops to 1-5 on the season. And those that watched will know that game was Barrie's from the very beginning. They come out fast in the first inning, score, I believe it was five runs, pick up that quick lead, and you feel like, oh, another Red Sox game getting away from us right at the beginning. That game turned back around. 8th inning, the reliever comes in, throws 4 walks in the first 5 batters. Brantford puts, that was all 5 of the runs on the board there in that 8th inning, and then unfortunately can't quite close it out, can't quite make up that gap, but it was an electric game. And Jacob Cantor, our new shortstop, one of our new shortstops, made his debut that day. He was exceptional. I've given him the MVP tag. 2 hits in his first 2 at-bats, also a walk. And then that Guelph road game the next day. Guelph on the road. Brantford makes the trip. Wasn't a great game, unfortunately, for the Brantford Red Sox. 2 hits in that contest. Never really showed much. The offenses we've seen a couple times this year. If we don't get it clicking right off the bat, right from the very beginning, it's hard to find that momentum late in the game. Unfortunately, there, Jorge De La Cruz is registered with the loss. Connor Irvin, only 2 earned runs through 7 innings, 5 strikeouts. He was all right. He was the team MVP in the sense of he kept us in that contest, but Mercado picks up the win for them, and Dean's their starting pitcher. 11 strikeouts, 2 hits allowed through 7 innings. Unbelievable. But now, Sunday of that weekend was the final of the 3 consecutive days for our own Chris Ortega, Renee Takioka, and Aiden Armitage, as well as our very own Emmett Cooper. We have an awesome video made by team photographer Nathan Bowles that we'd love to show you. Here it is. There you go. Thank you very much to our very own team photographer, Nathan Bowles. He does awesome stuff on social media. His handle was there. Absolutely check him out, and he's responsible for a lot of stuff we repost on our own Brantford account. So he does an awesome job. If he ever has interest in making show graphics, he can gladly take the reins over from me on this program. But that was awesome. That gives you a bit of a glimpse into that Sunday All-Star game in Hamilton. It was an awesome opportunity. My first All-Star game that I've ever attended, and I think we talked about it a little bit with Brooklyn, but getting an idea of what other teams around the league, not just Hamilton, but what other organizations are bringing, and just how good the top level of the IBL is unbelievable. It was so cool to see guys that, could come in, kind of take a day off a little bit, take a, day off a busy weekend. For us, for Brantford, a lot of other organizations, that was their third game in 3 days. You couldn't tell from what you saw on the field. They were truly exceptional in that in that game. It was a lot of fun for the people there. I hope they enjoyed. I wish, felt bad for Chris Ortega, right-handed pull hitter. He had a wind blowing straight out to right field, which is a death sentence for a hitter of that nature. But really awesome, really great team there at Hamilton to put that event together. We talked about the tokens, I believe, in that interview with Brooklyn. I thought they didn't know what a beverage was when I was handed a blue token and had to cash it in, but we figured it out. Maybe something we could pick up here in Brantford. Let's take a quick look at, just to kind of cap off today's show, at the IBL standings. Let's see where Brantford is heading into the final couple weeks of the year. Those of you that know, as of July 25th, where the Brantford Red Sox stand, will know we got a little bit of room to make up here in these last 13 games as of today. That's the day of filming, 13 to go from this point. We need to get on a bit of a hot streak. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Kitchener Panthers now both sit at 12 wins. Toronto has 2 games in hand, and the Guelph Royals, shout out to them, have really taken off and have removed themselves from the conversation to be the only team to miss this year's IBL playoffs. So we'll move ahead to the Brantford schedule ahead for the Red Sox and that big money game, ladies and gentlemen. I can't stress enough how important this game is if you want your Brantford Red Sox to make the playoffs. That game in Kitchener on July 31st against the 12-20 Panthers, that will decide our head-to-head for the season. That will decide if we have any hope of making the playoffs. If we lose the 2 games this weekend, as I'm calling right now, which I hope we don't, but if we do, that game will be a must-win. Then Chatham, Kent, and Hamilton both come to visit on the 1st and 3rd of August, respectively. Then it's Welland on the 7th, Barrie on the 8th, and I believe 2 more games after that. It's been a very fun show today. I still have a game to call. I got plenty more baseball left on this weekend. The All-Star game, though, got me feeling really good about the Brantford Red Sox. We made a great showing in our community. Ren Tachioka, shout out to him. He was exceptional there in that All-Star performance coming off the bench. Kind of got me spirited for the rest of the season. And I hope you've been enjoying the Brantford Red Sox Report so far this year, coming to you every week on Rogers TV. I know our YouTube uploads as of this week, a little bit inconsistent. We're going to try to lock those down on you if you're watching on the YouTube side of things after the fact on Wednesday nights. But I'm Marshall Crocker. I've been your host for the program, and it's been a pleasure to do so. We'd encourage you to check out our next broadcast, and as well as our social medias. Check out our next broadcast coming up on the Friday, every Friday. Brantford Red Sox IBL YouTube is the place to watch me and the entire team. And check out our social medias. You got to meet Brooklyn today, our social media manager. You see the awesome content, or you hear about the awesome content she's putting out. Now go check it out on your own. That video there, that Tim Hortons Camp Day video, is really fun. To get to meet the players behind the scenes is always a pleasure. I'm Marshall Crocker. This has been the Brantford Red Sox Report. Have a great weekend at the ballpark, and we'll see you again very soon.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.